Hello, good morning. On this bright and early Wednesday. A couple weeks ago with daylight savings, it was bright during the sessions. Now it's dark again. We're heading into the depths of winter. So welcome everyone to our live show this morning. So live Q&A, however we want to call it. We have about 5 questions that we have that came up over the last week. If you have questions, please pop those in the chat box so that I can address them. Otherwise, I'll just be going through the questions that we've received throughout the week. Okay? All right. First question. Why would Amazon close an account for inauthentic that is 1 day old after only one sale that hasn't even been delivered? So that's kind of not enough information to make a full adjudication as to what Amazon is doing. But usually if they're going to shut down something for inauthentic, they have good reason for doing so. So there's 2 reasons why this could be happening. One is the item is at FBA, and so they can do a bin check and check it that way and validate that it's not actually authentic by looking at it physically. So if your item is at Amazon, you can assume that they can go check it and go look at it. And what they often do is what's called a bin check ticket. And then they'll have someone physically go to the bin, take pictures of it, and then upload it to the ticket so that whoever's doing the investigation, wherever else in the world they are, can see the pictures and look at them and decide. That's the first thing. It could just be that it's actually, been verified as an authentic through a bin check. The second thing is that it could have been connected to a previous action. So if that product was seen as inauthentic previously, or that particular listing was seen as inauthentic because it's a duplicate listing, for whatever reason, there's some sort of history there, whether on the listing or on the priors on the seller account. Like it's a new account, but it's connected somehow to an old account that got shut down for inauthentic. There's some sort of history that caused it to be shut down. Those are the 2 most likely culprits. Okay, question number 2. Shouldn't we be using some or all of the keywords we vet in product search terms as well as incorporate into the title, bullets, and descriptions appropriate? I thought that Amazon only rewards with the badges based on search via the backend and not through advertising. No. So the way that the keywords work is you're ranking for title and for bullets. And what you want to do for advertising is basically to kickstart certain search terms. So say I have a product and I have these Christmas lights on my table because I'm putting up Christmas lights. Don't judge me. I'm doing it before Black Friday. Because I won't have time right after Thanksgiving because I'll be working on all of the client accounts on Black Friday. So I'm putting up my Christmas stuff now. So I've got these mini lights on the table. And if I were to have a title that said Christmas mini lights, great for offices and homes, holiday string lights, just a couple different keyword combos to try to pitch this item. Then if I then advertised for holiday string lights or Christmas lights or white Christmas lights or mini Christmas lights, I would need to have those keywords somewhere in the detail page. Sometimes it goes through without it, but most of the time they don't vend your results if you bid on something completely outside of the scope of what your product is. And then every time you get a click and a conversion on that keyword from advertising, you rank higher for that keyword organically too. So it's not about backend search term. In fact, backend search terms are usually only helpful for misspellings and for off-brand type keyword search terms. So for example, we had a client who had a kind of oil-based product, and we found through automated search, automated ads, we found that the customers who were buying it were actually buying it as a natural lubricant for not the face, other sensitive skin areas. And we obviously didn't want to promote that as a use because that wasn't what the product was for. But we did put it in the back end keywords, absolutely. And the item was selling for that purpose as well as its actual stated purpose. So search terms should be things that you don't want to put on the detail page for some reason, not some sort of replication of what you already have on the detail page, right? So search terms, there's not actually that much that should go in your search terms because you are putting things in there that aren't on the page somewhere else, okay? Typically what you're gonna wanna really focus on is for customer search terms where people have shown that they wanna buy something, like you're downloading your your search term report and you see which things the customers have actually looked for, the things that actually resulted in sales, then you want to put those in your title and your bullets, and you want to put those in your product description. You want to reuse those keywords, those keyword strings, so that you can rank for those items organically. And then every single time someone clicks and buys on that keyword search term on the ad, then you get benefit there as well. Okay. Once we started doing some advertising where we really focused and drilled down on specific keyword strings, like the ones that were really effective, and then just threw a lot of money at them on Amazon, we started seeing some client accounts just kind of whoop, just like that. Because if you get the right keyword combination for your product to where Amazon sees that when someone clicks on it, they buy, Amazon will keep showing it over and over and over again, because the whole point of the search algorithm is for the customer to find what they want to buy. If that thing that they want to buy is your product, Amazon wants to vend it to them. Amazon wants to show them that, because then they get their 15% or whatever it is for your category. So Amazon is always trying to find ways to get the right thing in front of the right customer. And if that's your product, if you can show Amazon through sales and conversions that that's your product, it'll just keep going. Okay. The badges are awarded based on actual sales conversions, not based on search. So if someone is winning for winning the Amazon's choice for a particular keyword search, it means that they have the highest conversion rate for that particular search. It's not traffic. That would defeat the purpose. So it needs to be something where they actually have sales, because that Amazon doesn't get any money based on traffic, right? I mean, they do for advertising, but that's not the point. The point is selling stuff. So if they are getting money based on sales, actual conversions, that's what they care about. Okay. Next question. I'm getting lots of refunds. Almost everyone says defective. Is this harmful to my account? It depends. I will often say it depends. So as far as the piece of whether something is defective or is that harmful to your account, etc., the first thing is that it depends on what someone's saying about it as being defective. Because if we back up for a second, you have to understand that as a customer, when you submit a request for a return, if you say you didn't want it or you just didn't like it anymore, you have to pay the return shipping. And some people are so cheap that paying, $3 in return shipping is too much, too much. And so they call it defective instead of just being honest and paying their $3, because yeah, people are people. Although it's funny, because when you're in this business, I actually had a consultant a couple of years ago who told me I was trying to return something on Amazon and I just couldn't do it because I knew it wasn't actually defective, and now I know how it affects the seller's account and I couldn't make myself do it, so I paid for return shipping. I thought that was really funny. So you have that kind of issue where a lot of people will say it's defective when it's not, just so they can get the free shipping back. So that's the first thing. You really need to look at the actual comments that customers are providing. If the comments say things like, this is a piece of junk and I hate it, that's obviously a problem. Or this arrived broken, that's obviously a problem. Or this arrived and it was covered in mold, also a problem. There are various kind of comments where you need to double check that this is actually happening. Even if you're like, how in the world could this happen? I can't conceive of a situation where this could happen. You still need to do something about it. File bin check tickets or do a small removal to do a check and see if something is really present. Whatever the customer says, there's lots of reasons why customers could be right. There's lots of reasons why customers could be wrong, but you do need to investigate when something bad happens. Now, the thing that I would say for returns is you do need to check your aggregate return groupings. And what I mean by that is we actually will check on Deep Dive Day, we'll check our trailing 30 days of returns and then sort it into a table. And in the table, it shows how many of each type of return there is per ASIN. So you want to look at it per ASIN, not on the overall account. You want to break it down per ASIN. And if you have more than 25% not as described, you have a problem. If you have a distribution curve that's more than, say, about the same amount of didn't want item and defective, those should be around the same, and then undeliverable. Those three reason codes should equal at least 75% of your return reason codes for any given ASIN. If it's less than that, you need to look into why. So there have been a couple of examples where not as described was really common, and a lot of times that's because of the marketing content. The picture wasn't as described, or the sizing wasn't clear, or something wasn't clear on the page. And then the other one that we saw fairly commonly was things like warehouse damage or customer damaged, and usually those indicate packaging issues. So we had one where the warehouse damage number was just off the charts. It was like 30%, which is just It's never 30%. Just put it that way. It's never that high. And I asked the client about the packaging on that. Like, how are you packaging it? How are you sending it? Like, oh, we have a really nice glass bottle. And I'm like, oh, there's your issue. Don't send unprotected glass bottles to Amazon. That doesn't work. Okay, so Mike asks, what should we do if our customer says our food or tea related product is defective? We can't do a bin check for that. It depends on if they gave you actual commentary. If it just says defective, they probably just didn't want to pay return shipping and they wanted their money back. If they actually give you a comment that describes the issue, then you can do a bin check on that issue. So if they actually say, I ordered this tea and it smelled like poop, I mean, just as an example, sorry, I've got a 7-year-old, then you can file a bin check and say, can you check this out? There was a strong odor detected by the customer. Can you please report your findings? They will check for odors as well. So they can check for odors as well as take pictures. We've actually had bin checks where we've asked them to touch the product before to see if there was a particular texture that was a complaint. Thought I get a response from Christina on that one. And Amazon is not validating if it's defective at all. It's totally a customer decision. That's just, yeah, it's totally self-service. Amazon does not validate that. Yeah, so if 99.9% of them have no specific reason, no specific comments, Amazon doesn't know either. They don't know any more than you do. So just because it says defective doesn't mean anything at all. Unless there's an actual comment that you can investigate, I wouldn't bother with it. For the not as described ones, if there's not a comment, well, then there's not much you can do about that either. But if it's more than 25% are not as described, then try to proactively fix that. Usually it's some sort of picture or content error that's causing the not as described complaints. And they don't actually, like, the customer doesn't say, you know, defective, not as described. You see the actual reason code because Amazon keeps track of it that way. But on Amazon's side, they're actually answering a question. It's actually a multiple choice list. Like, try to return something sometime so you can see it. It basically says, I was unhappy with this product, or I didn't want this product, or this product didn't work the way I expected it to, or this product didn't look like what I expected it to. And they're answering questions like that. And then those get turned into not as described or defective, etc. Okay. All right. Next question is, I ran a returns report for the last 60 days and it came back no results, but I do occasionally get an email telling me that someone has returned an item. In fact, I've had 2 this last week. Any clue why my results are 0? Are you looking in the right place? I know that sounds really mean, but Amazon has this kind of weird structure with Seller Central where there's a Seller Central team that manages and maintains the Seller Central platform. Then within Amazon, each team that has something important to put into Seller Central creates their own apps to ride along Seller Central's actual overall structure. So just like Marketplace is a marketplace for all sellers to list and manage their stuff, Seller Central is a place for internal Amazon teams to list and manage the stuff that you need to run your business. So if you are trying to figure out your returns thing, you have to understand that the original returns widget was built back when there were only merchant fulfilled sellers. So back prior to 2011, when the first FBA program started cropping up at Amazon. So there is one place for FBA returns, and there's a different place for merchant fulfilled returns. If you're looking for your FBA returns under the merchant fulfilled returns section, you're not going to find them. If you're looking for your FBA returns, you know, like vice versa, where you want to find your FBA returns is under reports, fulfillment, and then on the left-hand side, FBA customer returns, and that gives you that report. Now, you can toggle between merchant fulfilled returns and FBA returns under the order returns section. That's under orders and then manage returns. I don't like that view. It doesn't give you the comments. So I would prefer to go into the reports under reports, fulfillment, and FBA customer returns, and you can actually see the actual comments from customers. And then to see the actual comments from customers under manage returns, you actually have to go into the original comment page for merchant fulfilled comments. But you can see comments on both. You can see customer complaints, but you do have to dig down a little bit. So that's the reason why I ask first, like, where are you looking? And I know it sounds kind of mean, but it's because Amazon's set up in such a siloed way that one team did one thing, one team did another, and then they didn't coordinate or make sure that it made sense. There's no one working on customer experience for sellers. They just put stuff up and then you need to figure out how to use it. Which is, you know, their prerogative, right? Kara asks, my listing has a strong title, bullets, description, but is not indexing for those keywords. How do I troubleshoot this? It's because no one's buying based on it. So if you have a strong title and bullets in your view, that may not be the experience of customers. So Typically what you need to do to start indexing for keywords is to run ads. It's kind of a pay to play kind of thing. So basically the very first thing that we do is set up basically a long list of manual ads where each of the variations of the keywords for the product, for the client's product, are listed. And then the goal is to get people to click and buy. And if you click and buy, then you start really indexing and ranking for keywords. So the click and buy part, the first part, the click part, is advertising, getting as many keywords in there as possible and getting the traffic there in a manual ad. The second part is getting them to buy. So if you're brand new, if you're just starting a listing, or if you're trying to kind of re-push a listing after it's kind of died down a little bit, then you need to make people more willing to buy. And that means offering something like a coupon or offering a promotion in some way. So if you want them to convert, they need to convert for some reason, and coupons really help with that. So if you're trying to just get a shot in the arm for indexing, then what I would do is I'd run an ad with a coupon so that you can start getting some conversion on a few of those keywords. Okay. Once it starts ranking better overall, you'll start ranking better for other keywords too, because you'll start showing up in search higher. Basically, what I see when people aren't getting indexed is either there's an error on Amazon's side. That happens sometimes when they've blacklisted an ASIN for some reason. It's rare, very, very rare, but it has happened. But the main reason why, from what I've seen, is that there just wasn't enough sales conversion to get Amazon to believe you can sell things to people. Because really what their algorithm is looking for is, if I put this widget in front of this customer, are they going to be so blown away by you and they love it so much that they're going to buy it? Because that's what Amazon is all about. Vending products to customers who then want to buy it. That's how they get their money. That's why Marketplace is so profitable. Every single order off the top, between 10 and 15%, 10 and 18% now, actually. So obviously, Amazon wants customers to go to the page where they buy. If you haven't convinced Amazon that your product will sell, then the system isn't going to show it. It's not going to index it and show it to customers because they don't know that they can make money off of you. Okay, so you've got to get the algorithm to believe that you can make money. Okay, next question. How can I close or stop selling in some of the EU marketplaces? Can't. So there are ways to opt out of EFN, the European Fulfillment Network, and who knows what's going to happen with Brexit. This whole thing with Brexit's been like, oh goodness. So we don't really know what's going to happen there or how the information is going to go between the continent and the UK. But in any case, for the continent at least, because the European Union has 4 main principles: the free movement of goods, people, services, and money. So obviously goods are the first one on that list I just gave there. And so they will list anything that you have, say, listed in Germany, they'll relist it in all the other marketplaces. And they'll even do it with their auto translations. Isn't that charming? It's super cute. My favorite was, we had a client who had toe in the title, and it was translated in German to Fuß, which is foot. It is not the same thing as a toe. So sometimes their auto translation is pretty poor. But no, there's no way to opt out that I know of. I know vendors can opt out in certain cases, and then there's safety reasons to opt out. So for example, if you have like certain things with plugs, then obviously they can't be sold in multiple places. Certain other things like there's different plumbing requirements in Italy. If I recall correctly, there was a whole thing about that where the gauge of plumbing pipe was different in Italy. Now, someone who actually has lived in Italy can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but there was something about the use of home improvement items were different in Italy versus other countries. So for that, those items couldn't be sold in Italy. And Amazon does have a long list of these where there are different country variations. But if your product category is not on one of these lists, then they will absolutely list it everywhere because they are trying to sell stuff. That's their goal. So if your product is selling, in one place, of course, they're going to try to put it somewhere else, or maybe it's not selling well in one place, but it could sell well somewhere else. So let's make it available. That's kind of the thought process. Okay. All right. So that covers everything that we had questions about. What I would like to do is talk a little bit about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and give you guys a little bit of tips for this weekend. So the first thing is, everyone should have some sort of coupon running. Not a promotion, but a coupon. And the reason being is because in the drop-down menu, when you have a search, coupons show up as an orange banner as compared to other things that are out there, different kinds of promotions, lightning deals, etc. A lightning deal has a black banner on it, just like Amazon's Choice. a coupon has an orange banner, just like Amazon bestseller. So having a badge helps to get customer attention. The second thing that I would say that you guys need to do is double check your catalog. We've been having a lot of issues with catalog, reverting pages, reverting pictures. Just go in and double check what the customer sees. And we call that walking the store. Pretend you're actually a customer, go try to find your stuff, see where it shows up, see what pictures there are, and then try to fix it. Then the third thing is use your Black Friday sales information to improve your pages, improve your content, change your bullets, however you need to do it. Get as much data as you can using manual ads, using automatic ads to improve your data going into the buying season. We have a couple extra days this year because Thanksgiving is so early. So you have about 3 more days than average this year than previous years. So that's a whole extra few days of the buying season this Christmas. So good luck to everybody. And I hope you have an absolutely amazing Black Friday and Cyber Monday weekend. And I hope you sell a ton of stuff. This is the time of year where it all comes together. And as usual, if you have any questions, please post those in our Facebook group. I have been obviously working like a crazy loon to get everything ready for our clients for Black Friday, but I am in the Facebook groups this morning and we'll be answering questions. So if you have anything, pop those in there. Okay, we have a question that just came in. Tracy asks, what if I'm already having a 20% off sale that I'm already advertising? Do I still need to have a coupon? If you are advertising off Amazon and you feel that that is significant enough, then go for it. The coupon shows in the search results on Amazon. So that's the reason why the coupon is so useful. The promotion or sale only shows in the actual page if you've made it available. So the coupon will just help get more clicks. So if you're running ads, you want something like a coupon to get more clicks and then convert. Okay. One weird thing about coupons is that even though they help people to click and land on the page, only about between 1/3 and 1/2, sometimes a little bit more than half, are actually claimed. Super weird. Amazon makes you click the box. And if you don't click the box, you don't claim the coupon. Kind of a strange little side note there. Okay, all right, that is it for this morning. Unless someone has any questions, this is your last chance to pop in a question. Yeah, I have a question, I have a question. If you do not have a question right now, but do later, Christina has included the Facebook group here. Feel free to click and add to the group and be able to ask questions whenever you like, and usually they'll respond within a few days. And yes, Christina, it's absolutely a racket. The whole point of this is to trick people's brains into thinking they're getting a deal. It's just, advertising. It's, appealing to our old reptile brain. Kara asks, first review was a 1-star review because it was crushed in shipment to the customer. Yeah, reviews don't get removed. I wouldn't even bother to pursue it. What I would do instead is first make sure that your packaging is sufficient, because obviously if one thing got crushed, other ones can too, and you're going to get the same kind of feedback going forward. That's the first thing. Everyone needs to be a lot more careful about their packaging. I encounter this at least once a day. Someone saying, wait, Amazon doesn't repackage based on what I send them? No, they don't. You have to make sure that it's packaged in such a way that it can make it to the customer. They even say that. They're like really explicit about how crappy they are on packaging. But a lot of times people just don't think about it, or they'll think about it as a customer. Like, why did I get this dumb package? Why is it so huge when the product is so small? It's because it's all automated, and the humans at the FCs can't change anything. You can't change it. So even if the human can see that your product is going to get crushed, even if they can see that it's a problem, they can't change it. So don't assume Amazon can take care of it for you. Make sure that you've got everything set up ahead of time and take the customer's feedback seriously. The second thing is you need to find some friends of friends or friends of family who can help you out. Don't ever use your friends and family. But friends of friends and friends of family is appropriate, and don't overdo it, right? You need to find people who are willing to help you, who you can say, hey, I have this problem. Are you willing to, buy my product and give me a review? Because that would be really awesome of you. Okay. Yeah, so product review versus seller feedback. Seller feedback, you'd be able to take that away. Maybe not. Maybe not. Even seller feedback, I think you'd have a hard time with taking it away because it's because it was packaged by you. I suspect that it would be difficult to even get them to take that off because of that. They would assume it's your fault because you're the one who shipped it in that packaging. So specific examples, how to package a book, how to package a boxed item. So if it's a book, for the most part, it's fine to go by itself because those go out in book mailers. So Amazon will actually put it into a book mailer that folds over and then tapes down. And so that's totally okay because they ship it in a proper package. For most products, though, you need to basically have it meet the ISTA standard. So typically, you need to meet ISTA 3A or 3B, depending on your product. There's actually an ISTA 6 series that they did in cooperation with Amazon, and you can actually test your product to Amazon's own testing standard for packages in their fulfillment center. It's a really tough test. If you actually take a look at this and look at what it goes through, how high the drop testing is, how long it has to be on a platform, how many times it has to be able to withstand being jostled and dropped, maybe that will help to understand how seriously Amazon doesn't handle packaging. Like, think of the most angry baggage handler you've ever seen at a plane, or like the UPS guy who chucked the box at your door. I mean, that's really the kind of stuff that happens. And I feel like a lot of sellers are very idealistic and optimistic about how their packages are handled, and don't think about the fact that retail packaging is in no way sufficient for Amazon. This is why a lot of retail arbitrage folks got shut down over the last couple of years, this used sold as new thing, because they just shipped it in the retail package. Most retail packages are thin paperboard, one line. You need to have at least B-flute corrugate on Amazon if you have a breakable item. Anything that's breakable or crushable, you want to have B-flute corrugate as a basic thing. Or you can watch on YouTube, actually. There's some pretty good YouTube videos, Christina. You mentioned touring an FC and watching it in real time. There's some pretty good YouTube videos as well. So that's the minimum. If it's crushable or in any way can be broken easily, B-flute corrugate is minimum. And sometimes you even want to do double wall corrugate, depending. I mentioned that guy who sent in glass, unprotected glass. Don't do that. Then if you're selling something that's a lot more firm or that just won't break, then you can get away with a lot more. Right? We actually have a client who doesn't sell it in packaging at all. They just have a little paper kind of insert cover thingy, and that works just fine because their product is very rarely going to be damaged. Now, that being said, they did get their listing suspended once because items were arriving twisted and mangled. And I am absolutely 100% convinced that the item got caught on a conveyor belt because there's nothing else in a fulfillment center that is strong enough to bend an iron alloy. Like it was a pretty hard piece of metal that got bent there. So when you're thinking about the life that your package has at an Amazon fulfillment center, it has at least 13 points at which it can be damaged or broken, and it travels along multiple miles of time spent on top of a jostling robot. So they move and it'll jostle, especially if it's at the very top, that you can actually see it. They kind of wave a little bit as they're moving. Or if it's in an old school FC, the ones that aren't robot ones, then they're dropped into a tote, and these pickers are just like scan, drop, scan, drop, scan, drop. They're like super fast because they have a certain rate to make. They're really like grabbing things and dropping it into totes, no protection whatsoever. And then once it gets on the tote, it goes onto a conveyor belt and goes as it goes down the conveyor belt. Yeah, need to like turn that into a GIF or something. And then once it gets down to the conveyor belt, it goes on to a little kind of couple type thing, and it goes down that, and it gets tossed into a chute, and then it gets dumped into a box, and then it goes into a box and bounces up and down, and then it goes into a truck and gets bounced up and down until the same thing happens to it at a UPS center. Pretty darn terrible for your package. Okay, so if it arrives crushed, then take that complaint really seriously, because if one arrives crushed, the other ones could too. And then all of your effort with the friends of friends and friends of family will be for naught. Let's see, will a shipment with less cartons, like 7, get checked in sooner than a shipment with 25 cartons? No, it won't get checked in sooner or faster if it's all small parcel. If it's an LTL shipment, those get handled differently. So if something's coming in on pallet, then it'll get handled differently. But all small parcel shipments just get handled as they come in. So it's not going to make very much difference. I don't think it should make any difference at all, to be honest. Okay. All right. Thank you for you guys' questions. I always like answering questions. It's fun. It reminds me of teaching. Okay. All right. Looks like the question stream has slowed down. if everyone can please post in Facebook as we go through. I will be on all weekend. So if you get something crazy that happens on Black Friday, please feel free to post and I will be happy to respond. Thank you guys for your time this morning. And I hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend and a wonderful Thanksgiving with you and your family. Thank you, Kara, to you as well. And thank you, Mike. All right. We'll talk next week. Yes, happy Turkey Day, Tandy. All right. Take care, you guys. Bye-bye.